Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Propagandacaster. Addendum here discussing the latest patch here for Company News 2. Adding a few things there, primarily, of course, for those who keep asking me what is all those mega or gigabytes for. It's for a bunch of new skins, pre-order skins for those who pre-ordered Dawn of War 3. And then for some reason, also want to play Company News 2, despite those being two rather sort of extreme ends of sort of the RTS spectrum, I almost say, so I don't know why. But yeah, basically, a large part is just for those pre-order skins. As for actual changes, there are several. The Sword Maxim, by the way, finally gets nerfed. Less suppression, less damage, slightly less overall faster. That gets, well, damage actually is, I think, roughly the same as the suppression. Has been slightly changed. Plus, its sprint ability is replaced with a sort of ability that just allows to keep firing for longer periods of time. Overall, in a sense, just as long as it keeps firing at the same target, they increase the damage and the suppression. So just maintaining it better, but just being able to fire faster, but just reloading faster and all that. So that's sort of a little change there overall, just meaning maximum spam is overall going to be less overall bloody potent, which is a good start. It also gets, I think, a wider arc of fire too as well, just to make it a bit more useful in that sense. So in that regard, it's been more like other machine guns, but still with some edges of some, which includes it is still really tough for a machine gun thanks to having 6 men in it. Also, the M4C Sherman now takes a lot longer to call in, so you can't just spam them, which is also one of those bigger changes that's really needed. So M4C spam is going to be trickier. Not impossible, just trickier. Which is certainly also going to be quite a good thing there for the Germans. For the Oberkommando S, the Command Panther gets nerfed. Requires more command points. Its coordinated fire ability gets nerfed a bit. And the Command Veterans also gets slightly nerfed, so the veterancy bits that sort of hit the veteran fire aren't quite as strong. It's only now the accuracy and I think reload or something like that sort of applies to them, so it's not quite as overpowering for the infantry as well at that point. So that's also a good thing there, I suppose, for the Allies, but then on the receiving end of it. The overall sort of line share. Oh yeah, the M10 also gets nerfed. It can't crash infantry anymore. At least it can't do so as easily, which of course is a pretty big change. Those are sort of the minor changes. Oh, the sort of line share changes hit the British. Mortar emplacement, also emplacement can't no longer be placed within the base. You have to place them outside the base like any other emplacement, like say artillery pieces and the likes. So that's a pretty good start there. The Cromwell gets nerfed, less accurate. Can't crush infantry either easily. And also the tank commanders for overall. The tanks no longer give experience to the vehicle faster. That was also a bit of an issue there with the British. The Labs just gain experience at a much faster rate, and just to basically beat the opponent silly with that. Plus the Cromwell becomes a bit more expensive, so now it costs almost the same as the Wehrmacht Panzer IV, only slightly cheaper on it. You can still get it faster out than the Wehrmacht Panzer IV in most cases. The Comet also gets nerfed, slightly more population, slower rate, not on slow rate of fire. It has less accuracy on the move, which was actually one of the issues, actually really accurate on the move, less range, less better rear armor, and some other changes here and there. I think it might also be less accurate in some ways. Also the smoke gates change for the Cromwell and the Comet a bit as well, to sort of make it less straightforward, I believe. So those are some of the bigger changes there. Cromwell, Comet getting nerfed, big stuff there. Mortar replacement again can't just be placed within the base. Also pretty huge, in particular since recently it's caught on with just building 2 within your base and just covering a fat chunk of the map, which is not exactly very healthy for the game, I would say. So those are some of the bigger changes there. There are also some other ones, including that artillery cover for the British no longer is as empowering as it was, so it's just less able to lock down everything in the area, which is one of the problem. You could just throw it down, you could just screw up the Germans completely. So that's a pretty good one as well in that regard, on top of everything else. And the land matches also get slightly nerfed as rockets fire slightly less fast. There's a bit more of an interval between them, meaning it's going to be less overpowering right away. Plus anti-tank guns, like they can actually destroy it now, so you can just fire it with your tanks. It's going to destroy. You don't have to kill the crew and then destroy it, for example. So that's also going to make it a bit easier to counter than it was before, which was also one of the issues. It's just really difficult to get rid of compared to sort of how it should be. So it becomes a bit easier to deal with. So I mean, overall, a lot of changes. They sort of fixed some of the most cheesy stuff there with the British, which was one of the primary issues. Also changes to sort of the salvage abilities of the Soviets and the British, so they're sort of more normalized now for depending on what they are salvaging. Plus some more units got handbrakes, and those were sort of slightly tightened up as well there. So that sort of largely goes. Again, for those wondering why it's so big, it's those pre-order skins for those who pre-ordered Dawn of War 3. But again, our primary bit there, less infantry crashing, and the British sort of get less cheesy in the late game. So those are all, I would say, pretty good things. So yeah, that's something there to sort of, you know, be happy about here. A slightly more balanced game. So there you go. Hopefully this video has been sort of helpful for you that are wondering. This is Imperial saying off, and see you all another time. Cheers.